So he said, "Come in, darling, I'll reset your Game Boy and clone a Pokemon in your box." Providing, of course, that you're gold, silver, or crystal.
Yes.
Yes. Little box humor there.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
And welcome to the 71st episode.
71st.
Of the Big Dame Case.
The 71th.
Yes, indeed. The 71 nerd. I am Chris, a.k.a. Starscream's excuse for a coronation.
And I am your worst dream about going to school naked.
Did you go to school naked in your dreams, or did you just become naked in
I went to school naked in real life.
Fair play.
Fuck that.
Swinton, it's a feral town, boys
It is feral.
Tis feral indeed.
I never went to school naked.
You never went to school?
Came home unclothed once, twice though.
Oh, God.
Feral children. Stole all my clothes.
Oh, evil. Evil beings.
Didn't even wear them. Burnt them for warmth.
So
that's the thing, you see.
Oh, that's appropriate. I mean, bonfire night this weekend. So
it is bonfire night this weekend. I mean, we're living in the shadow of Halloween.
All Hallows been and gone.
How was your Halloween, Chris? What did you go to?
You know what? For the first year in several years, I did nothing.
I didn't really do anything.
And it was kind of fine.
Yeah.
Like I think that's maybe happened once every 4 Halloweens, roughly. I sort of don't do anything at all.
Once every 4 Halloweens.
Like last year,
the demon sleeps.
The last couple of years, we had a big stream.
Yeah.
The year before, we had a big old party.
Yeah.
Year before that, I think I had like a horror film night with my brother. It's just been kind of quiet. Although on the night itself, I did finish my binge watch of something we're going to talk about later on. Okay. I wonder what that could be, he says, knowing full well it's the thumbnail and the title. How about you? What did you do? Did you hide?
No, I didn't really do anything.
Hide behind a beanbag?
I went to my parents, so I didn't have to answer the door to children with sweets.
Did your parents have to answer the door to children with sweets?
Yes.
Is that how you got around having to answer the door with children with sweets?
I had to go like twice. We didn't get lots of poor effort going in, lots of tracksuits with a single mask.
Yeah, well, we didn't get that, but that is a thing. I remember that happening a lot when I was a kid.
Poor showing, kids. Poor showing.
Lou loves Halloween, to the point where I had to unpack a chunk of the shed the other day to find the Halloween decorations, all for them to be up for one night. But this was also the first Halloween, I think, in a couple of years where she's been home on the eve itself. So she was in like a skeleton onesie and baking Halloween cupcakes and handing out candy, and I was hiding up in the office doing like writing and eBay, because I was like, if I open the door and a kid of the right age recognises me from TV stuff, they're going to keep coming back to the house.
And that's no good.
That's no good.
You have to wear a mask, Christopher.
Last year I was dressed as a ventriloquist doll because I was streaming. I was doing the Goosebumps stream.
So
that helped. Because when I came to the door, no one was really going like, oh! They were going, you look weird, mate. What are you doing? Speaking of ventriloquist dolls, we're going to touch on the latest instalment in a dead franchise as well.
What?
Which features a famous doll. I've also got a couple of trailers we're going to chinwag about this week.
Yeah.
And of course, a deep dive.
We're going to dive deep
into Stranger Things Season 2. Don't worry if you still haven't watched it all. We're going to be spoiler-free for a bit. Then we'll give you a warning and we'll talk spoilers. So brace thine eyes, and indeed is.
Yeah.
But first, Matthew, what's on the contents pag?
Well, as you mentioned, we're going to talk about a couple of trailers, but unusually, we're going to talk about multiple trailers for the same film.
Yeah. And do you know what my favourite part about this is?
What?
These trailers weren't online when I first saw them. They came out online the day after. I went to see Jigsaw last Wednesday, I believe. More on that in a moment. And before Jigsaw were 5 trailers. Trailers 1, 3 and 5 were trailers for the same movie. And I was so surprised. I was like, I would have seen these. I mean, because it's something I'm a big fan of.
That does happen quite a lot because all movies are the same movie nowadays.
Yeah. But it was just so pleasantly surprising. And I the trailers in question, because you can probably tell from the content, were for ghost stories. And I tweeted Andy Nyman after the film just to say, watch Jigsaw, it was fine, but was pleasantly surprised by the 3 ghost stories trailers beforehand. Can't wait to see it. And he replied with, oh, thank you very much. It was like to the point where I had to tweet, the co-writer, co-director, and star to be like, thanks for that, because it was so surprising to just see them in the cinema.
They usually get released a good couple of weeks before you start seeing them in cinemas. If you see them in cinemas at all, the last couple of movies I've been to see have both had that first proper Justice League trailer.
Yeah, the dank and grimy San Diego one.
Yeah, as opposed to the newer ones. And the original Black Panther trailer as well is still playing quite widely, despite there being a newer one out.
But this was a Lionsgate film, and Ghost Stories is being distributed by Lionsgate, so I guess it was going to be attached to the.
And also, if you're gonna market a movie towards fans of horror movies, then what better movie to stick it in front of than the revival of a
Halloween staple
franchise?
I'm in. We won't go too deep in because, as the stage show, as the play that this is based on says, please keep the secrets of Ghost Stories.
Oh, we will keep the secrets.
So yeah, we won't go into it. When the film comes out, we'll do spoiler free and then spoiler section, absolutely, because it'll almost feel like a shackle's been removed. They're like, oh my god, we can talk about the things inside.
About Ghost Stories,
because it really is as a play. It's one that it's completely beneficial if you know jack shit before you go in.
I knew nothing and I enjoyed it.
And I'd seen
quite
it
a bit.
I don't think I'd seen it my fourth time yet when you saw it. And like the restraint I had to exercise for a few years to just not go, oh man, like seriously this happens and that happens.
And you never use restraint.
No, I never use restraint.
If there's anything
I'm saying that like, yeah, you're right, I am completely uncontrollable.
If there's anything that as a person you lack. And, you don't have many character flaws as people go.
Bless your eyes.
You're not, unlike 90% of the internet at the moment, you're not a sexual abuser. For one thing.
I am an abuser, and I am sexual.
But
I'm not both of them.
It's not your only redeeming quality.
Thanks.
But, one thing you do not have is restraint.
That's true.
You have an almost complete lack of restraint, and you exercised it masterfully.
Because
you just get so gleeful.
And here's the thing: I was tempted to tell you a little bit, simply because the play changes how it pulls off certain moments.
Yeah.
Over time, even during the same run, so that repeat viewers don't know exactly what to expect.
Which is quite smart.
Yeah, there's that segment, the second story segment, for example, whereby there is a visual effect utilised.
Yeah.
I think the way it happened in the version we saw at the Arts, it came from above, that visual effect. Sort of like a drop kind of thing.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, it came from the back of the central focus. That was the first time. The second time, it came from above. The third time, it sort of enveloped the central focus completely.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
This is what the opening segment. There is a moment at the end of the first story that is obviously a visual scare to make you go, "Oh my god, that's horrifying!" That has been executed completely differently every time I've seen it.
Oh my god!
And it's very refreshing because it means that as a play, it also didn't want people who were like, oh, go on, I'll go see it again, to be like, I know what I'm in for.
Do you think this is something that might suffer from being crystallised into film form?
I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Nyman and Jeremy Dyson had tweaked it to a degree that this was still, though will obviously contain certain things that we're expecting, and it's from the trailers, it certainly looks like we are getting the 3 stories, one of a night watchman on the scariest night of his life watching over a building, one of a teenager on his way back from a house party in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And one from a very busy father-to-be who starts hearing strange things in his house. It seems like all the stuff we're expecting is there, but I wouldn't be surprised if they tweak how it works.
Yeah.
So that it's still like, there will be some things that happen in the stage show that don't happen in this, and vice versa. So it feels like a worthy alternative to watch these stories. For those who don't know, the basic plot is Professor Goodman, played in the movie by the role originator, Andy Nyman. In the play, it's a lecture where you're sort of attending a lecture on how the mind essentially creates ghosts.
Which is very confusing because it's not what I bought tickets for.
No. Well, ghost stories, and you come along and he's going to talk to you about 3 cases, but it's drenched in atmosphere from the moment you arrive, as was the case in both the venues I saw it. Certainly at the Arts. Yes, yeah, it's sort of like it's around the other side of Piccadilly Station, isn't it? Down the road a spell. I believe.
Oh, the Arts there, yeah.
No, that's the Arts there is there, but the other one isn't that too far away.
I thought it was at Lyric. It was originally.
Is it close to Drury Lane? Or...
Was it in the West End or was it the Lyric?
West End.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure then.
I'm not confused.
I have it in my head. It was at the Hammersmith Lyric.
Oh no!
Why do I have that?
Because it played at Hammersmith in Liverpool when it first debuted. It was in Liverpool. That was its first venue.
Is there a Hammersmith in Liverpool?
If not Hammersmith, it's an Apollo. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably an Apollo, and I'm confusing it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
That we might be getting something confused, but
something's confused somewhere.
Professor Goodman is basically there to talk to you about how like supernatural is something entirely created by the human mind. Like, yes, there are things that you can't necessarily explain outright, but that means you just might not have the right thing to explain it with yet, or there might be an angle you're not aware of, etc., etc. And to prove his point, he shows you, well, the show shows you, he recalls 3 specific cases of people he talked to who'd had what could be described as paranormal encounters. And after each one, he breaks down what he thinks really happened. And then at the end of the show, you sort of learn more about how, like, the human mind can construct, you know, its own demons and what happens when, you know, something's left to fester in your head and turn it into, you know, your own personal boogeyman and things like that. So it's a deconstruction of how the supernatural exists. It looks like the film version, it sort of looks like it's got maybe a documentary, if not a documentary style wraparound.
It did run in the Lyric Hammersmith in London for a bit.
Did it?
Yeah, that was it. It went from the Liverpool Playhouse to the Lyric Hammersmith.
Was that its initial London run?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I saw it then.
Nowhere near the West End, mate.
That doesn't make any sense. No, I saw it in London. Where did it go next?
It is in London.
No, but like
Hammersmith is in London.
I know. For some reason, I always assume London's the West End.
It's near where I used to live.
I don't remember travelling that far out from where we were because we went for drinks. Never mind. I'm confused myself. Point is,
you fool.
Maybe
you saw it at the Arts twice.
No. I saw it at the Arts once. And I saw it at whatever the other venue was 3 times. It must have been.
Oh, Dukes of York. Duke of
York. That's what I'm thinking of. There we are.
Yeah.
I was going to say like 'cause it wasn't too far Hammersmith way, but this was in my first and second year in London where I had no idea what it, like. If I go back now, I know where I'm going. Like when I lived there, I had no fucking clue. But yeah, it looks like the movie's got maybe a documentary, if not a documentary wraparound, certainly utilising 2-camera. Hello, these are things I've investigated. And the official synopsis of the film says it has something to do with a former colleague of his, like a mentor, who supposedly went missing, is asking to speak with him and to look over 3 cases he's got.
Okay.
Now again, I think there's a throwaway line about that in the stage one where he sort of talks about like these are cases that I inherited from or heard about from someone else. So I'm just intrigued to see if the show will come back in some form. I'd hope so.
I would hope so. It's not done a national tour, has it?
No. Which I think works to its benefit. I think it needs to plant itself somewhere for a duration for it to work.
I could see it doing a national tour.
Yeah, it couldn't do less than a week per place though. Really could it? It'd have to like envelop that theatre for its run.
That might be. It would kind of kill the atmosphere, I guess.
The Arts work so well because you have to descend the staircase to get into the theatre itself.
That's quite nice.
You just once you're in there, you're like, oh god, I'm in here then. I'm in here now. I'm in here.
I'm here,
damn it. But really looking forward to it. Proper spooky. Don't read into it if you haven't seen the show. but do go and check out the trailers. All 3 versions of the trailer are on the Lionsgate Film UK YouTube channel.
Go in knowing as little as possible, because the trailers don't really tell you anything.
Absolutely.
Chris has told you more than the trailers do.
Oh, I don't know. The trailers, he says in one of them that there are 3 cases. And...
Yeah, I know that.
Spoiler alert! Everybody dies!
Everybody dies!
I'm being facetious. I'm also being a feces.
Talking about everybody dying,
And talking about feces...
let's talk about Jigsaw.
Yeah!
I've not seen Jigsaw, so tell me about Jigsaw.
The film I saw to get the joy of the Ghost Stories trailers was Jigsaw. Now, I am an unapologetic fan of the Saw franchise, but I do not in any way, shape or form believe it to be anything more than ridiculously over-the-top schlock. It's gross. It's disgusting. The first film is a pretty decent low-budget thriller that basically is someone watched Seven and went, hold my beer. Like, I want to try and outgross you in terms of the murders that are going on here.
Much like Kevin Spacey has in last week.
Topical and gross. Saw 2 is a pretty alright sequel. Like it obviously stems a little closer to the horror and stuff, but it still is what the first one is, which is a police procedural wrapped around a really gory circumstance, like a really horrendous, scary circumstance.
And when I say wrapped,
I
mean like the flesh.
Aye.
Wrap.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere with that. I don't know where.
Could have gone you could have gone for the barbed wire.
Shush.
Yeah. Okay.
I was.
But yeah, so the first one's pretty great, and if you haven't seen it, I do recommend watching the first Saw. Second one's alright if you're curious. Third one is where you should stop if you're like, yeah, that was fine. That's where you should end it. Because 4, 5, 6, and 7 are another narrative that start after that.
What?
That ties back into it. But, okay. Shorthand for Saw. I really like the first one. I kind of dig the second one. Third one's fun. Fourth is shit. Fifth is shit. Sixth is a really interestingly well-made movie. Seventh is shit. And then it ends. Here we are. 10 years on? No, 7 years on, I think, from the last cinematic release. 2010.
Yes, 7 years.
Yeah. With Jigsaw, when I first heard this was happening, it was whispers about a year and a half ago of a film called Saw Legacy.
Yeah, October 2016 it was announced as Saw Legacy.
Saw Legacy, and then quietly sort of just disappeared. And then earlier this year, there was confirmations of, oh yeah, no, we've got a release date for a Saw film. It's like, well, wait, what? Jigsaw is the story of 10 years after the death of the Jigsaw killer, which is what I'll call him here in this non-spoiler moment.
Okay.
Similar sort of deaths are occurring. People are being found, bodies are being found that tie back to a potential copycat killer. However, all evidence they find points to the genuine article being behind it. So it's a race against time. Sound familiar, yeah? It's a race against time for the police department, like the investigators in charge and the morgue workers and everything who are behind trying to figure out what the hell's going on, to find out where everything's taking place, why, and to who, before 5 people in a really horrific, scary situation lose their lives one by one to Jigsaw's traps, which of course are built to test your morality and test your willingness to stay alive and appreciate life. And that's kind of it.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's also not the worst Saw movie. It's definitely a spin-off. Like it's in the series.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it belongs directly in the series.
Is it
it
set
feels
up a
like
new direction?
Well, yes and no. Like, it ends in a way where you could tell more stories.
Yeah.
But it also ends in a way where it would be completely fine if you didn't. And I think it would also be pretty damn fine if they didn't. It's, how do I put it? Like, it feels like... Right, here's the thing. The stuff that is interesting and good in Saw is, for me, like those first couple of movies, is an intrigue, a mystery, the police procedural side of it all, like the race against time element, you know, of the thriller, of the cops trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and some interesting horror movie deaths.
Yeah.
Which, of course, in the early movies are put out through these really unique and frightening and sometimes simplistic, but, like gory traps. Some of the traps don't even involve excess gore, and like some of the best ones are the ones that don't involve excess gore, or the ones where we actually see someone get out. Like they're some of the best ones because it's the thrill of oh god, oh god, they're out, oh god, they're out. Like that's what's exciting about it. As the series went on, it unfortunately devolved into a term that was created, I believe, or at least solidified for these movies, which was torture porn.
Yeah, this and Hostel.
Yeah, well, I think Hostel, I think, was a movie that probably only got the leg up it did because of Saw and Saw 2.
Yeah, I've not seen any of the Hostel movies, but from what I've gathered, they share in the sort of gleeful carnage but lack the sort of, I say narrative depth. I mean, Saw is high melodrama, but it doesn't have that narrative through line that Saw does.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've not watched the third Hostel. I've seen 1 and 2. The first one holds back enough. And it's more about how frightening the abduction angle is and everything like that, and being alone in a foreign country and this horrible stuff happening to you and la la la. The second one ups the gore because obviously everybody talks about the gore, but then also adds to the story in a way where you're like, oh shit, this is what's going on. Okay, do you know what I mean? You learn more about why the first Hostel happened that you didn't really realise at the time. I've not bothered with the third one, and I've not really revisited the first and second. I think I've seen them both twice over the period of 10 years. Yeah. So,
I think I've only seen each one once.
Of the Saw movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've revisited Saw at least 5 or 6 times. And I've revisited the second one maybe 3.
Yeah.
I think I've watched the rest... No, I've definitely watched the rest twice. Because when 7 was coming out, I dug out my DVDs and had a rewatch of them all like over the course of a week. But they were like ironing movies. They were just on in the background while I was doing stuff. It was mostly just to brush up on the insanely complex narrative that happens in the 4th, 5th, 6th ones. This film feels like a step back in a weird way. Both for positive and negative reasons.
Yeah.
Positive is it decides not to overcomplicate, and it's like, look, here's a story, we're watching it play out. It's similar to 1 and 2. Cop side of things, people in the trap trying to get outside of things. That's good. That was needed.
Yeah.
That way you get to sort of know the characters a little bit more, and you get to invest in them slightly, and that's, it becomes the race against time, cat and mouse thing. It's taking a step back in a bad way, because I don't want Saw 5, 6, and 7 levels of gore here. But you do kind of expect a certain thing from these movies now. This film is probably on par with maybe the second one in terms of how gory it gets. Like, there are not a lot of moments of, like, look at this, you sick puppies, look at this, isn't it gross?
Which I think they went the most over the top with in 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5's got the thing with the ribs, isn't it? Or is that 5 or 6 where that thing just opens up?
Yeah, I think you want to see that in silhouette though.
Oh no, there's a glory shot.
Is there?
Yeah, it's not like spraying everywhere. There's a glory shot of look at these internal organs.
5's got the pendulum.
Yeah, I don't hate the pendulum.
And 6 has got the acid injection.
There's a bit of that in this one.
Which is grim.
There's a bit of that in this, but toned down. But that's the thing, you sort of expect a bit of spectacle, especially when this film's tagline in the States is all like, he's come to take back Halloween.
Yeah, I suppose.
And all this stuff. But it kind of feels like... It kind of feels like a 15 certificate version that in the edit they've gone, oh no, we need to bump this up a bit. Just add a bit more...
You think?
Yeah, add a bit more viscera there. And add some more swearing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an odd one. But yeah, it's not essential viewing for Halloween movies, guys. So if you're still wanting to go and see the Scary Fair out in cinemas right now, it ain't essential. But if you want to challenge your mates to see, like, how strong your stomach is after having a meal out or whatever, then fair enough, have a laugh. If you like the Saw movies, give it a watch, but don't really expect it to blow your mind. Then again, if you're a hardcore Saw fan, I think you'd just be delighted that the franchise, is back in a way. Yeah. I'm going to go briefly into spoiler territory.
Okay, I have no problem with it being spoiled, so
are you up for that?
I'm up for that.
Are you absolutely sure?
I'm up for that. Well, I know more or less what happens in Saw 3D, and I haven't seen that, so...
Okay, spoiler alert, everyone dies. That is a joke, not everyone dies. Although this is the one thing we talk about where you made me go, is he being truthful there?
Yeah, I'm like...
This movie is a prequel and a sequel.
Pardon me.
That's what I wish the movie would say to me.
Yeah, apologies for that. That just came out of nowhere.
It's a prequel and a sequel.
Okay.
You see 5 people in this horrific trap, like sort of trial thing that's set in this boarded up, big old abandoned farmhouse and all this stuff. Going through these things, and then one by one, as each of them is killed off, their body is then dumped in the city for the police to see and find, with the clues that that eventually lead them to the farmhouse.
Okay.
Thing is, the bodies that are being dumped, we later learn at the end of the movie, are just bodies made up to look like these murders. All the stuff in the barn happened before Saw 1.
Oh.
All the police investigation happens 10 years after John Kramer's death. John Kramer's DNA is on everything because it has all been set up to be like this. Even down to them exhuming the body from the graveyard and finding the recently deceased mortician who's overseeing everything in his grave instead of Jigsaw's decomposed body. Someone has basically gone to great lengths to make it look like he's back. He is not. In fact, this event isn't even anything to do with him, and it isn't even one of his, I'm leaving this behind to happen after my death. It's his original protege. A guy who... the guy who fucked up John Kramer's scans, basically.
Yeah.
It's him. He survives a trial, and John gets him out of there thinking, I've gone too far. It was an honest mistake. This isn't right.
Mm.
He didn't do something right. He didn't neglect his job. He just made an honest mistake. So he talks the guy round, and that bloke is the guy who helps him build the majority of his equipment initially. That's the workforce he had from day one to help him build all this shit. That guy is now, the medical expert for the police. So you think throughout the whole movie he's, the one who's trying to get to the bottom of it, and someone else might actually be doing it. When you find out at the end, it's him. Not only is it him, the bodies that have been turning up are just based on that first trap, so that he has a pattern to work off of to lead the police on a trail here. And you'd be thinking, well, hang on, wouldn't the police go, hang on, this happened 15 years ago or whatever. No, those bodies were never found. Yeah. Yeah. Right down to the 2 characters you think are going to survive the original trap. You see them in a room at the end, where they died. So they're just 2 dried up skeletons, all clearly been dead for over a decade in that room, and you're like, oh god! But it did mean, for one effective moment of storytelling, they sort of screw up the trap, and then they wake up chained by their legs in I guess what would be part of the abattoir at the farm or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They wake up, and in the middle of the room is a hooded figure prepping something in the middle of the room. And they're calling out to him, and he pulls his hood off, and there is John Kramer. Tobin Bell in all of his glory. And I'm sat there in cinema going, okay, movie, you have me. What's going on? And then, of course, after that, you find out those events took place 15 years ago. So the movie makes you go, holy fuck, Jigsaw's actually in this? What is going on? And then the movie goes, yeah, you're right, he was in this. That was all flashbacks, motherfuckers. We got you feeling like something was going on. So, it's the classic Saw twisty, softy, nicey thing. Was it worth it? Not really. I mean, it's nice to see and hear Tobin Bell again. He's always good in what he's in. But, his Jigsaw is always a fascinating character to watch. So the one scene where you see him in a room talking and stuff, you're like, this is quite cool. Feels quite familiar. It takes me back to 2004 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? There he is. And to make him look younger, he's got a little soul patch. But not like the one he had in a couple of the movies. It looks like it's been stuck on.
Oh no.
As for gore, like if you're after it for just the schlock and the gore, only a couple kills that'll really tickle your pickle. To be honest, the rest are quite tame.
I'm alright
for a Saw movie. Me too, but they still got to pack.
Right,
they still got to pack a punch. You know what I mean? There's still got to be something that makes you go, "Oh no!" And instead of just sort of, that's gross." Do you know what I mean? So, although favourite trap, if we're going to get down to that wankiness, my favourite trap, there is one trap where two of the characters can only be saved by another one outside who's stuck in a thing and has to pull a lever while they're inside like a grain silo as it fills with grain. So they think they're going to be basically suffocated.
Okay.
But then they get trapped up to like sort of their shoulders. So they've got their arms on the surface, but they can't move. And then a hatch opens, and one by one, various very heavy, sharp implements plummet from about 20 feet above them. That was a genuinely quite tense sequence, because I'm sat there going, oh god. Oh god. Like, especially when, like, a freaking, like a trowel drops down and stabs one of them in the arm. So he's having to pull that out, and then a big old razor, circular saw blade drops and lands like a centimetre away from the face of another character, and she's just in complete silence for a second, just looking at it like. So that was the most interesting trap for me, but it's a trap that had a massive plot hole in it, and
well, yeah,
and the worst part is there's a red herring. A lady who works at the morgue you think might be the one behind it. Like she's been auctioning for years and collecting jigsaw traps and bits left over from jigsaw traps. And she's on the dark web, like, on a Jigsaw fan base, because she's just fascinated by what he did. And the film sort of obviously leads you in a way for a while to thinking, oh god, is it her behind it? Is it her behind it? And then in the end, no, she was the alibi for the guy who was actually behind it. Like, she won't be arrested, but she can vouch for that guy being different places when the police would obviously need him to have been somewhere else for it to be a crime. And it sucks because she's the best actor in it. She's clearly having fun. And it's like, if you guys are going to plan on doing more, she would have been a great villain. But fair enough.
And yet.
Yeah.
And yet.
But enough of disappointing horror. Ow.
You're a big man, you can take it.
You just punched me in the prostate.
Nah, that is horror.
Netflix.
If you've got Netflix and you haven't already watched all of Stranger Things 2, there is no help for you. There's nothing I can say that is going to enrich your life. What you need to do is get over to Netflix and watch yourself Stranger Things 2. Why, I hear you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because it's fucking brilliant.
How brilliant is it?
It's very brilliant.
It is very brilliant.
To explain further, Stranger Things, if you have not seen it, the first season tells the story of a group of boys, one of whom goes missing. His mother's panicked. Meanwhile, a young, seemingly mute girl with strange abilities turns up out of nowhere, and there seems to be some sort of creature running around this small town of Hawkins, Indiana, picking off people here and there. And it gets into a whole thing of parallel universes and strange dimensions and psychic powers and monsters and
Stephen King style vibes throughout.
Stephen King / The Goonies / E.T. / Poltergeist / It.
All the 80s stuff that has aged beautifully, basically.
It's set in 1983.
Yeah.
So. And it's awesome. And it's awesome.
Great.
And
it's brilliant.
Perhaps most importantly, it is chock full of wonderful characters. Like, every character in it is fantastic. Especially the four kids in the leads. Well, I guess it's 5.
Or 6 now.
Well, 6 now. But like the core group of boys, which is Will, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, and then 11, who's the girl, and then in this season, again those plus the new addition of Maxine, or Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like series 1 was great because it's. I mean, what genre would you class it under? I guess sort of horror science fiction.
Yeah, sci-fi horror.
Yeah, because it plays very heavily on the horror in terms of its marketing and how it's trying to get everyone in. It's like, hey, come see some spooky guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then it's very light in large chunks in terms of just the characters' interactions. They're just having to deal with very heavy, scary things.
Well,
and the adults in particular are having to deal with, obviously, the much more grown-up realizations.
Weird shit.
Like, Will goes missing, and immediately they're like, well, we're going to find him. And Will's mum is like, oh my god, my boy is gone. Like, you get to see the different levels of how people deal with stuff at different ages, different generations.
And Will being missing is like one of the central mysteries of that first series. So it does mean that you get nearly an entire season of Winona Ryder in just constant sort of
panic and grieving.
It's just like, yeah,
mourning her son no longer being there. And plus you have the teenage angst and teenage romance stuff coming in with characters like Nancy and
Jonathan and Steve and that love triangle. You've got Hopper, the surly sheriff, who is clearly got some issues of his own, but gets all wrapped up in trying to find this young boy. The first season's amazing. Yeah, and the second season.
And we have discussed season 1. If you want to go back, there's a whole episode if you want to hear it at length. Yeah,
this second season kicks off a year after the first, and just dumps us straight back into that. Just this wonderful world of its brilliant characters just bouncing off each other and being just so enthralling.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it brings through a new mystery, and some bits of which are new, some bits of which are following on from what happened in the last series.
Yeah, I think mild spoilers abound for the moment, guys, because I think there's stuff we will have to touch on to sort of...
Yeah, there's not...
To review, but also we're going to discuss bits of Series 1 as well.
There's a brilliant reveal at the end of the first episode, which is a minor spoiler. What happens at the end.
Which shot is it? The first one?
It's when Hopper comes home.
Of course, yes. Which is, oh god, yeah.
Because obviously you know from the trailers that Eleven's back.
Yeah.
You just don't know how.
Yeah, because the last we saw of her was, I think, her hand opening that hatch.
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
No. Did we not see...
The last we saw of her was her disappearing along with the Demogorgon.
Meats.
You see Hopper leave the dead drop for her.
Yeah.
But you don't know if she's alive or not.
Yeah.
If she's even going to find it. Because you don't know if she's alive or she's still in the Upside Down or what.
Spoiler alert, she's in the trailer. She's here. She's alive.
Well, you know she's
around.
Back. But, yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean now, yeah. It's... Right, so... The new. We got a new mystery. It is intrinsically tied into last year's mystery, but it's definitely a new angle.
Yeah, a development. We get.
There's been roughly no activity outside of the... What's the name of the facility?
The Hawkins lab. I can't remember the proper name for it, but it's just the lab.
Yeah.
The laboratory.
Outside of the laboratory, there hasn't been anything unusual for pretty much a year now.
There's a new team of scientists in charge there. They're checking in on Will. Will seems to be suffering some sort of PTSD.
As we saw at the end of Series 1, he's sort of having these little flashes.
Well, we also saw him cough up an alien slug at the end of Series 1.
Slug?
We'll get into
maybe
that.
More than that.
That gets picked up on later on. But yeah, there's a new team of scientists in charge of checking up on Will, keeping the...
they understand they understand that the relationship is at any time Hopper or... what's Winona Ryder's character?
Joyce.
They know any time Hopper or Joyce could just go forward and be like, these people exist, and possibly could prove it. Like, the scientists don't know per se how much they know.
No one seems to want to kill anyone, so...
But yeah, but they're sort of in that place now where they're like, look, you know we exist, but we can help you. We can help your son. We can keep an eye on things, and we can promise you that nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to come through. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that whole thing of... These guys weren't in charge of all the stuff with 11. So they're like, hi, we're trying to contain and clean this shit up and study it. we're not the evil people who breed children for evil purposes and do all that shit. Emphasis on children, because we do get to learn this series a bit more about the facility that Eleven was raised in.
Which was the Hawkins Lab.
Under
old
that
management
regime, yeah.
Under the management of Matthew Modine's Dr. Brenner.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So there's that. We've got new characters entering town. For example, there is the titular...
The aforementioned Mad Max.
Mad Max herself, who is new kid in town, who's regularly... Like, she's a skater. She's one of the boys, basically.
And there's a stepbrother, Billy, who's this meathead
twat.
Certainly...
who from the moment he arrived, I was like, just kill him.
Like, psychologically abusive.
Well, he's the Stephen King character.
Yeah,
he's the Stephen King
the
bully. He's horrible and completely irredeemable. And then they drop something on him that makes you go, oh, I feel a little bad for him now.
And he's basically what Steve could have been in the first series.
Well, there's even the whole thing
he
of
hadn't grown up.
saying you used to be king around here.
Yeah.
And it's sort of almost this, like, dethroning.
And also
because Steve turned out to be a nice guy, and this guy is not a nice guy.
Well, I still think Steve becomes a nice guy.
Yeah.
But this guy is just almost irredeemable. And played by Dacre Montgomery from Power Rangers. The Red Ranger from the Power Rangers movie.
I thought I recognised him.
Yeah.
Man.
I thought for a while, when I first saw him, I thought it might be Caleb Landry Jones, because he's got that moustache.
The faded in moustache sort of thing, yeah.
But then, no, he's not that.
He's damn good in it. He's damn
fantastic.
Good in it.
I mean, all the characters.
Especially the scene in the penultimate episode where he flirts with someone else's mum.
Oh yeah, that's
and it's just
wonderful.
like, oh my god, this should be like all kinds of creepy, but it's like, no, he's smooth. Like, yeah, okay. Why couldn't he have been a smooth night, like sort of smooth flirty guy throughout the whole series, and not just an absolute toolbox?
We also got Sean Astin, Goonies veteran.
Oh, Bob,
as
wonderful Bob,
wonderful Bob, who is
like Winona Ryder, like Winona Ryder before him. This seems like a very sort of conscious bit of casting.
Oh yeah.
In that we want somebody who's going to act the shit out of this, but also has that sort of that asterisk
connection
like,
to 80s
bullet
pop
point
culture.
to 80s pop culture. So yeah, they're a couple, and it's absolutely adorable.
Yeah, he's like the most awkward, sort of cringy dad. I mean, he's not a dad. He's not even a stepdad because they're not married. But
he's Carrie Elwes in Liar Liar if he was slightly cooler.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's like he's dorky, and the kids are a bit like, what? But then it's like, oh shit, you're into the same shit we are. Oh, cool. Okay, we've got something to bond over. And he's just adorable, and he's a complete outsider to it all, which is nice because it means that for those who maybe are watching with friends or just picking this up out of curiosity, you do have a character who gets to ask the questions down as the story goes down the line. So you get a bit of background through Bob's perspective, which is nice. Plus, he's enthusiastic, which is always fun to see in a horror story.
Yeah.
Like when someone's just like full of beans, it's like yay!
It's just a lovely performance of like just a nice man.
Yeah.
Just like there's so much stuff in this show with like people having ulterior motives and lying to each other about things lying to people they care about things to try and protect them, and that sort of willing duplicity.
Willing. Speaking of Will's kind of a new character in a way because
you don't actually see that much of him in the first series.
Yeah, he's there, and then he's presumed dead for the majority of it.
Spends the majority of the series trapped in the Upside Down.
Yeah, whereas this year and that again was that was my only real concern with the series was I hope that he's got the chops because the guys last year proved so much that they were like perfectly cast and they're excellent young thespians,
which they've carried on into this series.
Oh, absolutely! In fact, some of I think all of them have developed as performers, but like, some of them have sort of come on leaps and bounds when it comes to being able to handle certain material.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, not to sell like Mike and Will and Ellie short, for example, but like the stuff that Lucas and Dustin get to play with this series. Just like they were my favourites this year. They were my favourite characters this year because I just thoroughly enjoyed watching them do their thing.
Was my favourite character in season 1. Like he's just the best. I fucking love Dustin. He's amazing.
The scenes between him and his mum in this series in particular are
we get
lovely.
to meet his mum.
They're just so lovely. But like Will, it was sort of this sort of weird thing rested on him as, would he be as good?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, you don't have to bloody worry at all. He's brilliant. And again, he's handling a lot more than just kid discovering weird stuff. Like he is the central character as far as like the focus goes, isn't he? Like he's the crux, he's the apex of everything that's happening. It's either happening to him or because of him. And he handles it so well. He gets to play something really quite unnerving for a majority of the series as well. An element to his character that means that as an actor, he's clearly thinking about two different points of view.
Yeah.
And he's playing it very well. God, I want them to be in everything ever going forward. They're all just
so good.
Beasties, we've got some pretty freaking creepy 80s prosthetic beasties in the form of the vines. We have like a living plant organism sort of thing that's spreading.
One of the things that you'll see a lot in the promotional stuff is these images of rotting pumpkins.
Yeah. That's a thing, and they are certainly...
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, and that again, just like it's harping back to like the B movie kind of thing of really gross practical effects that just look disgusting and are shot really well, so that at no point it looks stiff or stilted. Like these things look living, so they're a creepy addition. We've got the thing that I don't think it's ever given a name, but we've got the thing that you see in the posters and the trailer, like that big. Lovecraftian sort of shape in the clouds, which at first I just thought, at first I thought was just going to be kind of a bit of a plodding thing, but there are certain ways that moves in certain shots where you're like, oh god, I can kind of tell where one part of it ends and the other part begins.
Yeah,
like there is a personality and a shape to that thing. That's a nice sinister inclusion. But I think the standout for the series in terms of the beasties that it introduces. Are a sort of a variation on something we've seen before in the classic sort of how do we develop our monsters style.
If
think Alien 3.
If season 1 is Alien, season 2 is Aliens.
Yes, with a bit of Alien 3 sprinkled in, specifically design.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's nice and creepy. We get some proper gory moments as well this year. Like it's not excessive, but bits where you just go, oh my god, that's horrible.
There are moments of horror in this that surpass last season. There are moments of everything in this that surpass last season, like the horror, the drama, the relationships. One thing they do really well is because they've got new characters coming in and Will's around permanently, is they shake up the character dynamics by pairing off characters differently to how you've seen them before.
Yeah, well, like there's entire sections of 2 or 3 episodes in a row with Dustin and Steve.
Yeah, Dustin and Steve become like
who work really well off of each other.
Yeah, they become a great pair.
Yeah. Lucas and Max is sort of like this brilliant one because Lucas went away for a chunk of last series for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, and I feel like they made up for that by giving him a lot more to do this season, and that sort of love triangle, adolescent love triangle between Max and Dustin and Lucas, which is a great addition.
Nancy's storyline is now right. Okay, this is not so much a spoiler, but a confirmation of something we talked about before. So last year, I kept pissing and moaning about all the Justice for Barb shit, and I was like, why do people think she's alive? Like, people are like, oh my goodness, she's still alive. It's like, they showed her corpse.
Yeah.
The point of Barb, the reason why you're also upset she died, is because they were introducing you to a nice character who had no business being involved in any of this, who was taken by it and killed, to show you that this thing is going to kill everyone eventually.
Yeah.
That was the point of Barb's character. They made her lovely and quirky and a little bit offbeat so that you'd be like, oh, she's nice. And then they killed her. That's the point. So everyone was going, oh, they're going to bring Barb back, they're going to bring Barb back, you know. No offence to the actress, because I'm sure, obviously, you know, work is appreciated, but she'll be doing other things. But at the same time, to their credit, Barb is not alive. In fact, Barb's death/disappearance is a key plot point to the opening of this series.
Yeah.
Which is what we predicted. We said that I think they'll play on that. It'll be people looking into it.
In fact, it's no spoiler to say that Barb's death and Nancy's guilt over it is one of the big driving forces for her plot this season.
Yeah, it definitely starts the story off for her. It's that's her arc as the story begins. And so, and I'm glad no one said it. Like, in this series, there is, without going into detail, but there is a justice for Bob, but no one ever says it, and I'm so glad they didn't. Because that would have been like, oh, it's God, clear, you took me out of the moment.
It's clear that it's a reaction to the audience's reaction.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't feel forced.
It doesn't feel forced. It makes perfect sense. And we also get to meet her parents and have a couple of wonderful, sort of awkward, strange scenes with them. Because it's finger-licking good.
Oh, God, it is.
So good.
Speaking of awkward, strange scenes, we get some young love blossoming between Nancy and... Jonathan, that's it. Like, that starts to develop in a way that, again, like, when the series started, like, it's Nancy and Steve.
Yeah.
And I was a bit confused. I was like, was that where that left off?
Yeah, that's where that left off.
I couldn't remember. But then I remembered, oh no, part of the fun of last year was that it was a love triangle.
Yeah.
And that love triangle
continues.
is still there.
And yeah.
But,
the love triangles abound here because he's also, although Joyce has found Bob, there's also a little bit of tension still between Joyce and Hopper, who go way, way back.
Yeah. But there's a lovely chat between them in the second episode, I think, where they share a cigarette, and it's just he's kind of reassuring her and calming her down. But they let the actors say so much without saying a damn word in that scene.
Can we just talk about David Harbour for a moment?
We can talk about David Harbour for as long as you like,
and how fucking wonderful he is in this. Like, I just love watching him.
The curmudgeon of last series,
so good,
has softened. He's still a curmudgeon,
yes,
but you know a lot of it is now kind of front for the most part. Like it's him that's his way of life, and that's how he's carried himself for years.
You get to see a lot of what we got to see last season with sort of him with. Like, when we got to see more of his backstory and breaking those walls down.
Yeah.
And you know, talking about why he is the way he is. This season, the characters, one character in particular, gets to see that.
Yeah.
And more of that. And sort of open him up. And also, he's going to be a fucking fantastic Hellboy.
He's going to be great.
He's going to be such a good Hellboy.
He's going to be a great Hellboy. The thing is, he's one of there's something I've noticed in this show. Apart from the ones you're obviously not meant to like bullies and things like that, our central cast are heroic as fuck. Like, everybody, like, they're terrified, and they're up against stuff that they can't even begin to comprehend.
And flawed. In some cases, deeply flawed.
They're not poster childs for you know, like, perfection and everything.
Like, Hopper may be a hero, but he is a deeply flawed one.
But the biggest message I take away from, and I think we'll start to wrap up and go into spoiler territory shortly, but like, I think the biggest message I take away from Stranger Things, at least in terms of what they're trying to advocate, if there is indeed a message in their story, is it's be courageous. Because like, everybody just, even when they're faced up against it, they're like, oh my God, we're going to die, they're like, but that's the right thing to do.
Be courageous and stick together.
Yes.
Everyone in this show is stronger and more capable when they work together. Yeah. And it's to the point where there is a moment in this where Hopper does something really stupid by himself.
Yes.
And that becomes an issue of tension.
Yeah. Because you're like, you're probably not going to come back from this.
Yeah, so
this isn't good.
Which we'll talk more about in spoilers.
Yarb.
But yeah.
It's pretty great.
Also, Winona Ryder
is wonderful. Is absolutely wonderful.
She's so... Because she gets to do much more in this, obviously, because she's not in that
she's
same
more
sort
active.
Of, she's more active. She's got more agency.
She's still fighting for her sons. She's still worried about Will in particular.
Yeah.
But, like, he's there, and she can be there for him and she's not do got stuff.
She doesn't have that thing of spending most of the season just, like, wide-eyed and panicked. But she gets to just ride a much wider range of emotions, and it has a much more involving storyline, and it's just this season just takes everything you liked about last season, throws in some new stuff, and turns it all up to 11. Like, it's fucking great.
Hey,
Let's get into spoilers.
Let's do
boy.
it. Spoilers. Spoiler McGee. That is me, or something.
Can I just say, first off in spoilers, Hopper and 11.
It's so sweet.
Just one of the most wonderful relationships
it's adorable.
in this show, about which is rife with fantastic relationships. Like, the reason why any of the weird sci-fi horror shit in this show works as well as it does is because you completely buy all the characters and their relationships.
Yes, 1,000 times over. But that one in particular, I think that's the standout of the series.
Yeah. Because
it's not the core of the whole run. Like, it's not the focus in every episode.
But it's the core of Hopper. Like,
yeah, this is what he's fighting for.
You can see
and he has been, like, he's been out of the, like, they've been out of the ring sort of this last year, all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's not been anything to fight back against. So he's been a protector for a year.
And you can see that that's sort of allowed him to clean himself up.
Yeah.
From where he was before, now that he's actually got something to protect and to work for, because obviously a lot of the trauma that he carries comes from the death of his daughter.
Did you notice how he still referred to her as she is my daughter?
Yeah, she is my girl.
There's never any past tense.
Because you get that wonderful scene in the car when they finally because basically what happens is 11 that her and 11 fall out because he's kind of overprotective.
Yeah.
Well, not overprotective.
Well, not overprotective, but
but she feels like he's overprotective, and then they have a reaction.
It's teenage reaction hitting like sort of boiling point at the same time he's dealing with some pretty big shit.
So they have a falling out, and 11 runs away, and towards the end of the series, they get reunited in this wonderful scene.
With them driving,
and when he finally opens up to her about why he's so protective and his daughter and what happened to her, and it's just fabulous.
Which in itself is like an expansion of that brief moment where he tries to get in touch with her over their walkie machine. She's not there.
Yeah.
And he's just, again, the camera sort of spends most of that moment. Obviously, a few cutaway shots to show the walkie, transmitting no one in the room. But it spends a lot of the time just on his face. And you're like, oh, God, he's breaking. He's breaking. He's breaking. He's got it together. He's okay. He's okay. He's going to carry on. Which is then really sweet because then later on she obviously sort of reaches out when she's having one of her like little searches and she can hear it and she listens to the message.
Yeah.
It's
some of it.
Some of it, yeah. It's like, oh my God. 11's powers have sort of she's attuned them a bit more now.
Yeah.
Like there's almost like a set rule. If she wants to reach out to somebody, either to see where they are or to possibly try and communicate with them, blindfold, shut out everything as much as you can, and have an electronic device that transmits in some way.
I think it's less that and more of it's white noise.
Yeah. Well,
because she uses the TV for white noise.
Yes, that's right. And then the radio a couple times, yeah.
So, it's just, she doesn't need as much sensory, like in the first season, she needed that sensory deprivation sort of flotation tank to sort of get there, but now she needs less of that.
It looks like it's developing, I mean, I think the show takes place like just short of a year later, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like 348 days or something like that.
She's literally been counting the day. Her and Mike both have been counting the days since they last saw each other.
Yeah, which is really freaking
And they
sweet.
make you wait so long for that reunion.
Yeah, 11 doesn't rock up to the end of Ep 7 in terms of like with the other characters.
Episode 8?
Episode 8, that's the one, sorry.
She doesn't rejoin the rest of the cast, excluding, of course, Hopper, who she's with at the start of the series, until the end of episode 8.
Yeah. And it feels so worth it. She nearly does. She nearly talks to Mike in episode 2.
Yeah, you see her reaching out in the void.
Oh no, but then when she's at the gymnasium, like she actually tracks out briefly.
The first time she runs away from home, that then causes the massive argument between her and Hopper. She sees and she gets jealous of Max.
Yeah,
because Mike sort of rejects Max straight away.
Yeah,
because he's still pining for 11. And
he feels like she's just literally being plugged in as a replacement by everyone else.
Yeah,
it's like
Lucas and Dustin both have a crush on her.
Yeah,
and and she's a skateboarder. She's beating a couple of Dustin's high scores at the arcade. The arcade worker, that guy, he's ridiculous.
It's freaking great.
Like, some great side.
It took me till his second appearance before I went, oh god, he was the one who looks like neither a man nor a woman in Lemony Snicket. It took me ages before I realised. I was like, I recognise him.
He's brilliant.
God, Max is a really good addition.
Yeah,
she's a really fun addition, and again is the audience surrogate in a way. Like if you're, because in binge culture there might be people who are watching it because their partner or whatever, their mate, their flat housemate are watching series 2, and they're sort of getting into it but they don't get it. Don't worry, Max is going to learn some stuff as it goes on.
Yeah, she's great.
She's a really fun addition,
and all the like how horrible Billy is to her, and that sort of step sibling relationship.
Oh god, I wanted him dead.
Oh,
I was awful. Like, he's got to meet a grisly end.
I mean, he's a great character, and he's wonderfully played.
Yeah,
but he's such a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I was almost upset that he didn't get what was coming to him at the end. He got a version of it, and he's definitely stepping back from his sister.
Well, I'm wondering if he's not just biding his time so he can get his own back on her later on.
But especially when he did what he did to Steve, I was like, yeah, I just want him dead.
Yeah.
I was like, could you? I know you're just hitting him between his legs to threaten him, but could you just have one of the nails? Just one nail stab his balls. Just something. It's like cut his inner thighs so that he can't crouch for a week. Like, just do something.
I honestly thought it was
stab his buttocks so that he gets an anal fissure when he shits. Just give me something.
I was honestly thinking it was going to be something like she was going to properly swing for him, and when Lucas was going to stop her.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They kind of make it clear in the series she knows she's not as bad as him, and she can't let herself be as bad as him. Like she says, she's like, I know I'm like him sometimes, but so I don't know if she. But I know what you mean. That would have been I think maybe if there'd been another episode to go,
maybe
that could have been like something they carried with.
And also, of course, with Max, you get that love triangle that we've already mentioned between her and Dustin and Lucas.
Yeah.
And I felt so badly for Dustin, but then when you see her with Lucas and the sort of relationship those two develop, it absolutely is the right choice.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think, did you see any of Beyond Stranger Things?
No, I've not watched any of that.
That's really good because it's less of like that after show sort of sit round, let's all chum around, and it is the whole sitting down at the table in the set of Will's house and talking with the Duffer Brothers and
so it's more an actual behind the scenes.
It's more of an actual behind the scenes,
like
in the form of like a round table discussion, and it is it is funny, but it's not as fluffy as like the sort of Thrones cast and
it's not. They've not got like studio audience.
No. It is them on set talking about stuff together, and he gets some really nice insights. And the Duffer Brothers were turning around and saying it was always going to be Lucas.
Yeah.
Like, it was never for them. It was never a question of a will of who was going to be. It was always going to be Lucas from the start.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really smart choice because it lets both of those boys come into their own. Like, splitting them off. Like, you have Will and Mike, now that Will's back, they're very close.
Yeah.
And Mike spends most of his time in Will's sort of section of the story. Whereas Dustin and Lucas, they kind of fall out, but not to the extent that Mike and Lucas do in the first season. Yeah. Also, Lucas's sister. The funniest little girl I have ever seen. She's fucking hilarious. Jesus.
I mean, normally I'd say she crossed the line when she stole one of his action figures, but to be fair, she made He-Man funny. So.
She is ridiculous.
She made He-Man intentionally funny.
But yeah, it just gives them time, and that's why I think this season has worked so well. It's just giving everyone time to shine. The Dustin and Steve relationship, which is kind of born out of necessity,
comes out of nowhere. I mean, literally, it's forced in one scene. He arrives and he's like, "Those flowers for."
Well, yeah, because
he's knocking on for Mike, isn't he?
Because the slug that Will coughs up at the end of season 1,
presumably the same slug. Yeah,
Dustin
we find out later that there are quite a few of them out there. In fact, Will's probably spat them up over the last year. Well, which I was like, I wonder if they're going to confirm that or not.
Dustin found something in his bin and hid it in his ghost trap from his Ghostbusters costume.
That ending. Just over the end credits was like, what?
And he feeds it, starts looking after it, and he shows it to the folks, and then it escapes. And he pretends that it still escapes because Mike has figured out that it's something from the Upside Down. It's
Yeah.
probably dangerous. And
But he sort of formed a bond with it.
Yeah, he calls it D'Artagnan because
Yeah.
from because they both like Three Musketeers bars.
Yeah, because
No one else likes the nougat
Yeah.
apart from Dustin. Yeah. But of course, D'Artagnan is not one of the Three Musketeers, which just makes it even.
I was slightly worried that they were going to go down the route of like it'll be his loyal friend. Luckily, they don't entirely like. It's less loyalty, more it's like, oh, it's you. When it comes to the facing off against it in the tunnel toward the end, it's like, oh, it's you. All right, what have you? Oh, that's that shit I like. Okay, and then it waits for him to put the chocolate down and just sort of is like, round and round and round. I was terrified they were going to take it into like it fought off the other ones.
No.
Because I'm like, no,
That's
I
not
don't want the beings from the Upside Down to have any compassion. I don't want them to be something I relate to. I want to see some freaky, scary shit.
So it turns out that this slug / well, he calls it the pollywog. Because it's a kind of animal that he can't identify it.
It's similar to like these certain types of tadpoles.
It turns out that it's a baby Demogorgon.
Yeah. Now, was the Demogorgon the same as that last series? I thought it was more.
I think it's implied that these demo dogs are sort of adolescent versions of what then would become Demogorgons.
Right, because I was going to say the Demogorgon. I don't remember the Demogorgon having a tail, but that might just be my memory.
Become less quadrupedal. As they grow.
Okay.
So you see when it starts
but
off as like the tadpole.
There was that beautiful moment because you see it. It's got that little sort of tadpole-esque kind of head. Then it's got like his head looks a little bit like newtish.
Yeah.
And then you see it hunched over the body of the cat. It turns around and that head unfurls into the fangs.
Dustin's been keeping it secret, and it grows into a demo dog and eats his cat.
Yeah.
So he traps it in his in a basement.
Yeah, we saw like a basement just down the end of the yard, isn't it?
And then
like a storage house, like an old bunker or something.
But of course, the boys are all off dealing with different things, so we can't get hold of the boys. So Steve pulls up
to try and talk to Nancy, and he's like, "There's flowers for Mr. and Mrs. whatever." He's like, "No," and he's like, "Right, she's not here.
Come with me.
Come with me." He just
like,
gets in Steve's car.
Steve was just dragged along.
Like, you still have the bat.
Like, what bat?
The baseball bat with the nails in it.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah, sure. It's like, good, we're going. It's like, okay.
And just Steve gets roped into this ridiculous sort of hunt, but and like then sort of becomes a big brother to Dustin.
Yes.
And later on, the rest, Max and Lucas as well.
But because earlier in the series we get some really nice moments with Jonathan and Will.
Yeah.
Where like he's reassuring him. He's like, "Look, you feel different. Don't worry. Like I have felt that too. Different is better than boring."
Jonathan getting to be a big brother to Will while at the same time sort of coming over his own social awkwardness, and then Nancy and Steve's relationship sort of disintegrating due to. Well, Nancy maybe not actually being into
blatantly
the first place.
admitting while drunk that there's problems,
but
at least on her side.
But also the guilt of Barbie's kind of like thing wrong. But then she bonds with Jonathan, and that sort of dynamic changes.
How's the pullout?
Oh, fucking ridiculous! So
the sofa.
Good.
How's the pullout sofa?
So and then he drops the egg.
Yes.
And he drops. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, God. The conspiracist character was fucking excellent.
Was he in the first series?
No.
I couldn't recall if I'd seen him or not, but I think my brain was merging him and the teacher.
But I think
because they've got similar appearance.
Yeah. You don't get to see as much of the teacher in this series, but
they're still quite cool. He gets a few moments,
cool.
Especially the bit where they bring out the trophies. Like, I've got something to show you. Dustin's basically going to show him Dart.
Oh yeah.
But the first thing he does is puts the Ghostbusters trap on the thing. He's like, "Oh, cool. You make it yourself? Yeah. Does it work? Like, yeah, it's got." But that's not what we're here.
It's not about the trap.
It's not about the trap. It's what's inside the trap. I felt bad for the cat. I feel even worse for the turtle.
I felt also.
Where's that fucking tortoise? Where is it?
I feel really bad for Dustin's mum.
Oh my god!
He sends her out to look for the cat.
Series 3
dead already.
Is Series 3 going to open with Dustin and Steve sitting down with Dustin's mum having dinner and being like, well, we're going to hand out some flyers. So like Series 3 story arc will be Justice for the cat.
She's got a new cat at the end.
Did she have a new cat?
Yeah, because the first one's called Muse and the second one is called Twos. Because they have a stocking for it hung up and she's stroking the kitten. It's like
oh my god.
Dustin's mum is just so Dustin's mum as well.
My God.
Like, she's exactly the mum you'd expect Dustin to have.
My favourite Dustin moment, weirdly, throughout the whole thing, was just in the last episode, just the dance with Nancy.
Oh, that was so sweet.
Because he finally plucks up the fucking courage to be like, you know what,
Well,
I'm alright. Like,
He
Steve
does the hair.
done.
Like,
Yeah.
Steve tells him the secrets of how you get the hair.
Which works slightly different when you've got giant curly boff as a natural
He looks
setting.
like Buckaroo Banzai.
He does! He fucking
Because
does.
he's got the rolled up suit jacket
Yeah.
and the shirt with the bow
God.
and he looks really cool.
He looks cool.
Like in a retro sort of cheap, like
yeah, like in a... Wouldn't look
cheesy
cool
sort of-
today, but looks
No.
cool in those contexts. But then, like, he plucks up the courage and he goes...
he's
like,
got
to try and
so
ask out
much
some
strut and
girls.
confidence. Yeah,
And they just don't care because he's the weird little nerdy kid and they're not fussed.
yeah. Because you,
And it sucks because you expect it. Obviously, the trope is like one of them's going to go, "Oh, okay, like hi," and they don't.
No,
I mean, even Will gets asked to dance, and he's Zombie Boy.
Yes, yeah.
and he gets
Someone
asked to
calls him
dance.
Zombie Boy and then asks him to dance.
And that's sort of that moment of, yeah, you're right. Like being normal is kind of boring.
Everyone thinks
Like,
I mean, that's kind of cool. And then, of course, Lucas has Max, and they
Max,
dance and have their first kiss.
And then 11 shows up.
11 shows up.
Looking for the first time ever like a little girl.
I noted a little detail
Yeah.
I did not notice until someone pointed out on the web.
Oh, go on.
The blue ribbon.
Well, yeah.
So, in the flashbacks
Yeah.
to Hopper's daughter dying,
Yeah.
she's wearing a blue ribbon on her wrist. Then all the way through the series,
Yeah.
Hopper's wearing it,
Yeah.
and then Eleven's wearing it at the dance.
Oh!
After the doctor who survives the lab, the Paul Reiser, who you never know if he's going to be bad, don't know if he's going to be good, turns out he's mostly good.
Yeah. Like he's working for this shady bunch of fuckers,
but
at
he's
the
clearly
same
more
time,
sympathetic and reasonable than people. And he survives, and then he manages to get papers identifying 11 as Jane Hopper. So she's now Hopper's adoptive daughter.
Yeah.
Legally. Which means that she can have a shot at a normal life.
Yeah.
Or normal, as normal as it's going to
As
get.
normal as a psychic CGI nosebleed girl can have.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the ribbon bracelet.
That's a nice touch. And the fact that they very briefly share a kiss, but it's such a first kiss.
Yeah.
Like it's
even though it's not their first
like
kiss.
they sort of, I know, but like in that way where it's like they just lean in and like Mike just sort of kisses on her lips.
Yeah.
And she sort of smiles, but it's like, that wasn't a kiss, guys. But you're young, you'll figure it out one day. This is adorable.
But yeah, so while that's going on, and
Dustin's
just sat on
danceless.
the bleachers, just sobbing.
Yeah.
And then Nancy comes over and she tells him to dance. And she had that really sweet moment where she's like, of all of Mike's friends, you've always been my favourite. And at this age,
she compliments him on his new teeth.
Yeah, because he's got his front teeth have finally come through.
Yeah.
It's
just so sweet. It's like all series, no one mentions it.
Oh, he mentions it constantly.
He
mentions it constantly.
He's doing the thing,
which is not
Yeah.
that's not scripted. That's just a thing getting Mazzarazzo kept doing on set,
Fair
and
enough.
they chucked it in because
it's funny.
Like because there's
But
loads of
like-
outtakes on the thing on the Beyond Stranger Things of him just
There's
doing
outtakes
it
in
in
Beyond
every
Stranger
scene.
Things? Well, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
But like she basically says like you're my favourite.
Yeah, and
she's like, girls your age, like at that age, they're dicks. Yeah. Like they will grow up. Give them time. They'll grow up and they'll realize like how amazing you are and what you've got to offer them as a friend and in a relationship.
Yeah.
Just let them know. But at the same time, obviously, her dancing with him is making all the girls sort of be like, "Wait, what's going on?" Because the older girl, is dancing with him.
Because she's a senior. No, Steve's a senior. She's a junior. She's the year below.
Yeah, we don't know what it's called, American listeners.
Yeah,
your high school system is confusing.
Steve's applying for college.
No, hang on. Sophomore when you start.
Sophomore. It's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Okay, yeah.
She's junior. He's senior.
But either way, like the girls are obviously like, "Whoa, how did he get an older girl to dance with him?" It's like she's done it on purpose.
Because Nancy's nice.
And
also,
Nancy.
There's sort of that whole thing of Nancy becoming comfortable with herself.
Yeah.
Through this whole season and helping Jonathan do that as well, and Steve. Steve kind of realizes after that sort of first argument that him and Nancy's not working, and he sort of does the cool Steve thing and sort of is like, well, yeah, I guess that's that's what happens, and he sort of doesn't make a thing of it.
No, he doesn't chase her up and be like, "Why don't you love me?"
I mean,
like,
you see him try to bring her flowers, but she's gone with Jonathan for most of the season because she goes and tries to expose.
We don't know if he's like following it up to be like, "Let's give it another shot," or if he's just like, "Look, no hard feelings." Maybe like Steve is such a nice freaking guy. This series,
he's such a nice dude.
Speaking of nice dudes, Bob
Newby, superhero.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh my god! And at the end, the little drawing.
Yeah.
So Bob's arc is short-lived.
He's Joyce's boyfriend, and they're really clearly head over heels, and
it's adorable.
The boys like him, although Jonathan thinks he's kind of like a nerd, which is rich coming from Jonathan. Considering
creepy photos in the bushes, Jonathan.
Because they have that great moment where they go trick or treating, and he's dressed as Dracula. He just goes there. I hope he doesn't suck. And then the boy's just like, oh god, get me out. And for the first time I did, like, he's too nice. So me and my girlfriend are thinking, he's either a plant by Hawkins' lab to keep an eye on Joyce and Will,
or is attached somehow to the Upside Down or something.
Or he's genuinely that nice and he's not going to make it out of this series alive.
Our survey says
he's genuinely that nice
and is
not going to make
it out.
And like smart as well. Like it's revealed later on that he founded the AV club at the school.
Yeah.
When he attended.
Yeah.
Which obviously was like 30 years ago. And he works at Radio Shack, and he's good at electronics, and he loves puzzles.
Yeah.
So when Will starts drawing the massive map, so basically what happens is Will gets possessed by what they later term the Mind Flayer, which is this big Lovecraftian thing that's
the big thing in the clouds, the big squiddy cloud beastie. It's not like possessed him, but it's in him, and it can. Like, it's like they're sharing a body, and it's watching.
But it's
and the way that I can't remember the actor's name, but the lad who plays Will.
Noah Schnapp.
No, Schnapp.
Yeah.
The way he plays it is superb for an actor of his age because he's clearly playing Will, but every now and again something else is telling him what to say.
He's also. Sorry, I just have to retrieve my phone.
That's
He's also playing Will. He's
sometimes playing that creature.
He's playing that creature playing Will, yeah.
And sometimes he's playing Will being told what to say, and sometimes he's playing Will who's just trying to tell them how he feels because he knows there's something in him and he's trying to describe what it's doing. It's like he gets to juggle so much and he does so well. But like you say, it's that thing gets into Will. So Will is inadvertently spying on everything, but he before it sort of establishes a strong enough connection, Will is drawing the map out. Like he's scrawling what's in his head, what he can see, which turns out first it just looks like a bunch of blue squirrels and squiggles and splats, and then they line it up and they notice the blacks and the browns line up and all this, and it's a giant freaking map all around the house, which had me worried at first. I was like, oh, this is this season's Christmas lights. They're doing it again. But again, you get past that very quickly because you're like, this is a cool visual. All this stuff sellotaped up around the house throughout the rest of the series,
and it's just when what Bob realizes when he sees it, is that it's a map.
Yeah, like they just think Hawkins. It's a thing. Yeah, and then he figures it out.
It's a map of tunnels underneath Hawkins because it turns out over at the Hawkins lab they think they've had the gate, as they come to call it, under control, like the rift that goes into the Upside Down.
Nah, bro.
Turns out the reason that all the pumpkins and farms around Hawkins, all the pumpkin patches and stuff have been decaying, seemingly overnight, is because the gate actually goes down much deeper than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to grow this huge system of tunnels and roots underneath Hawkins.
It's got these like roots and vines that have basically created this network. And you can see them in the walls as well. Like, you can sort of see there's like a sort of a coiled spring. It's like a slinky.
But it's basically alive.
Yeah.
It's like living decay.
Yeah.
Everything looks rotted and putrid and...
Yeah, and it's like, it is not it's not a healthy thing. But it's like, well, why are they building this? Like, why are they doing that? And then you sort of realise that it's purposely creating an undercover way to start leaking out. Like, instead of one monster getting out and killing people mysteriously like last year, now stuff can start to leave whenever it wants, because it seems like there might be more of sinister machinations going on now.
Well, when Hopper realises what's going on and he goes into investigate and nearly gets himself killed.
Yeah, like,
if it wasn't for Bob Newby Superhero, he would have done.
Yeah, Bob the Newby Superhero. Well, it's true. Yeah, he ends up part of the floor. Like, you are stuck here, and you're probably going to either die from toxicity or choke yourself trying to escape. Or something, implied by the bones, something's probably going to come along and eat you at some point.
I think it's implied that those vines are similar to what was in Barb and Will in the first season. So it might well be the reproductive system of the Demogorgons.
Oh, that's gross. So he would have basically just become a womb then. Yeah. Like, it would have used his body to hatch something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gross. Fun.
That was the stupidest thing Hopper did all season.
It was. Well, which is weird because he could have got out of it easier. Fuck the knife. You had a big torch. Like, it was frightened of the heat. You just grabbed your torch and it would have backed the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing we kind of discovered is that the upside down creatures don't like heat.
Yeah.
To the point where they managed to burn the Mind Flayer out of Will.
Yeah, like they just crank up a bunch of they just crank on the winter heaters and the radiators and all that stuff. And is there a hairdryer in there as well somewhere?
I think so. Yeah,
it's just like everything they could get.
And Nancy pokes him with a poker.
Because that'd be the one that actually. Cause I was going to say, I think they kind of realised that it's not Will that's hurting, is it? Like, Will can feel he's connected to it.
Yeah.
But, like, this isn't... Like, the moment you get rid of this thing, Will's going to be like, oh, God, I'm fine. I'm okay. Apart from the fucking red hot...
not sure.
Apart from the red hot poker burn.
And you see Joyce having to wrestle with that decision of, like, I might have to kill my son to save everyone.
Yeah.
Or at least watch him die.
Because she spends... You sort of see her not... Well, she obviously stresses out about it, but you see her not, like, give in to emotion. There is a whole bit where she's like, I need to determine that he's still in there, and then I'll get to worrying about what I have to do next.
Yeah.
Because she obviously realises, they never spell it out, but she realises that, like, if it's, like, 95% that thing, and he's not going to be here for much longer, then we're going to have to kill him. But I will deal with that when I get... Like, I've already mourned my son. I'm not doing it again unless I have to.
That's why this series works so well, is because of the way it's written, and... the way it's performed. Winona Ryder never has to say those words.
Nope.
You can just tell that's what she's thinking. Because of the words she does say, and also it's in a performance. It's behind her eyes all the time. Before we leave it, let's talk about the other new edition. When probably the episode that we felt that we collectively felt was the weakest of the series. Number 8, Callie.
Yeah.
And her gang in...
episode 7.
in episode 7. You see her in the prologue?
Yes, which was a really cool prologue. It was really cool. Like, Stranger Things, we're back. Wait, a car chase in a big city?
Yeah.
The hell's going on?
Oh.
I don't recognise any of these people. Oh my God, that tunnel collapsed. Oh wait, it only collapsed in his imagination. And that girl's got a tattooed number 8 on her wrist. Okay, so I guess we're going to learn more about the people that were alongside 11.
When 11 finally runs away from Hopper, she goes to
find Mama,
what's implied to be a mother in the first season, confirmed in this season. Terry Ives. She finds out that her real name's Jane. She was born as Jane Ives. And she also finds out what happened to Terry to make her like that.
We also find out specifically why she says those words over and again.
So you get a flashback to her trying to rescue 11.
We'd like you back for filming this year. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, we just need you for a week. We've got a couple shots in a location, and then we're back in the same location we were last year. Cool, what lines do I have? The same 5 words.
The same 5 words.
Just get memorising them again. Yeah, saying them again quite a lot.
Which then leads her to realise that there's an 8.
That was Stranger Things' Hold the Door, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was their sort of...
basically.
And now you're really sad.
So now she checks, who she then tracks down and discovers that she's part of a gang. What city is it again?
Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah. So she finds them, joins up with them. Turns out that this gang is going after all the people who were involved with the original project and killing them, murdering them.
Yeah, which isn't like their objectives. They basically rob places and they get by
Yeah.
like robbers. But obviously their side thing is because 8 is the one who helps them do all the shit.
Yeah.
It's like, if we do this, you help me do this as well. And everyone's like, yeah, cool, fair enough.
Because 8 has powers as well, or Callie, she's called Callie. She has powers as well, but they are not psychokinetic like 11's. She can create illusions in people's minds.
Yeah.
Make people see or not see whatever she wants. So
anything from collapsing tunnels to giant metal gates appearing out of nowhere to gorgeous little neon butterflies.
She shows 11 Dr. Brenner.
That was fucked up. I think that was the one bit in the episode where I went, okay, that was cool. But it wasn't Dr. Brenner's words, it was her words, which is why I was a little miffed after that.
Although,
the words of the Dr. Brenner in that moment held over.
So what 11 accompanies with them to take out one of these people. 11 loses the nerve. She doesn't want to go through it. She doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah, because she sees the photo.
She sees that he's a father and his daughters are upstairs.
And again, it's not the subtextual thing. It's like she's going, yeah, the reason I want to kill him, like, I'm about to become him in this scenario. I'm not doing this.
And she's like, she wants to hurt him because he hurt Mama. But he's still a person.
Yeah,
you see her sort of think
he's a human, and she'd deprive his children of a father, which was why she's mad at him in the first place. He was part of the system that took her mum away from her.
You do see a wrangle with that morality, but also he tells that Dr. Brenner's still alive.
Yeah.
How? I've no idea, and he might be lying. But it does leave us with a hook for next season going forward.
Yeah, because I did think at the end of this one, I was like, what's your tag? Because this series ends with, the looming beastie in the clouds, the upside down, sort of implying that it's alive and it's keeping an eye on them as best as it can, or at least it can feel where Will is.
So 11
feeling around for its Will.
11 basically flees Callie and her group, and it's like, no, I'm going back to Hawkins. I'm going back to my friends. They're in danger, and also I'm not sure I'm down with this shit.
Yeah.
So that's when she rejoins the rest of the group, and she manages to close the gate into the upside down.
Yeah.
So we see, as you say, the Mind Flayer looking for its will. Obviously they name this creature after another Dungeons and Dragons monster, which is quite a nice touch. Much to Hopper's confusion.
Yeah.
It's like
that's just a game. This is real.
Then Dustin explains everything.
Oh,
and
God.
Like, how do we kill it then? He's just like, I don't know. It's just a game. Which is brilliant.
God.
So it seems like Callie and her gang might be coming up again.
And 11's origin will be sort of the crux of next year in terms
not
of like
sure how I
deeper.
feel about that. Not sure. I
think that's because we both felt similar to about this episode. We both had a similar vibe. It's the 7th episode of the 9 episodes. So you're already building up to like your finale.
And it splits up a cliffhanger.
Yeah, like a cliffhanger set around a chasm. It puts a chasm slap back.
Well, the implication is that episode 6 and 7 take place concurrently.
Yeah, but
or at least episode 7 overlaps with some of episode 6 and some of episode 8.
But the problem is episode 6 and episode 8, like the stuff going on in those two, is the core plot. The plot has ramped up in this 9-hour-long movie. Like, we're at Act 3 now,
and everything just pauses for an hour while everyone goes off on this thing. But then I don't know
in a story that is interesting, but would have worked better earlier in a season.
Yeah, the only reason I think it suffers is because of where it's placed in the season. But then I'm not sure where else you could place it. I'm not sure it would work broken up in between.
I don't know.
Because then the flow of episodes 6 and 8 wouldn't work, and they wouldn't finish where they do. And have that cliffhanger. So I see why they did it. I'm just not sure it worked for me.
Yeah.
But hey,
now you're an all-star.
That's Stranger Things. So let's get on to our single lone email.
It's a chunky one though, from what I hear.
It is a chunky one. And of course, it's from...
Let me guess. Someone without a sinister voice.
No, someone with the most sinister voice.
Oh, God.
Chris and Matt.
Oh.
This is wonderfully worded. I assume you've already defecated a section of the cast to Stranger Things Season 2 Clearly supposed to be dedicated, but I like defecated, so we'll stick with it. And I also assume you've both watched all the episodes. If not, then save this email for whenever you've finished it. Stranger Things spoilers ahead!
That's the spoiler song.
Assuming you've watched it now, how did you watch the season? I watched all of it on the night of its release, which I retrospectively regret a bit of how quickly it went. But at the time, it was a great experience. I watched it over 2 nights.
I watched it over
in 2,
3, I think it was, yeah.
In a 5-episode and a 4-episode chunk.
Mince.
Who was your favourite new character? I was a huge fan of Billy and his amazing hair, but my favourite has to be Samwise Gamgee himself, Bob Newby. Fucking Billy's beautiful hair. Fucking rat died on his head.
It did.
No, all the new characters were great, but yeah, I do have a soft spot for Bob Newby.
Yeah, a very soft spot.
Just
right around the throat.
Oh God, no! Poor Bob.
Poor sweet Bob. Taken before his time.
Who was your favourite pre-existing character in this season? Mine had to be Steve. Like Billy, his hair completely blew me away, like it did in the original season. Well, Dustin. Dustin, hands down.
Yeah, I think in terms of character development...
Partly because of his relationship with Steve, so,
yeah.
You know.
In terms of character development, like, characters from the previous series getting better and becoming awesome. Lucas, just because it was nice to really get to know him a bit better this series. The Hopper, because he's opening up a lot more. But Dustin, man. Dustin, my very own Dustin.
Dustin
and his pal Dart.
What did you think of the demise of Big Beautiful Bob? I wept and still haven't recovered.
I'm sorry, what's he called?
Big Beautiful Bob. I don't think I'll ever get over Bob Newby's demise.
It's creepy. The moment it began, I was like, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? The moment he came through those doors,
I thought
my brain went, no, they've tricked us into thinking maybe he'll get out scot-free. They've set it up in an obvious he's going to die way, and then he gets out into that hallway, and you're like, oh, he'll... No.
I was unsure.
He's not holding on to another character at this moment in time. He's going to be separated.
I was unsure until the moment he knocked the mop over. And as soon as they lingered on that slow motion, the mop falling, I was like, oh, he's done. He's done.
Bob Newby's gone.
Yeah.
For me, it was once he got into the hallway, because then it slows again for a second.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's at least 5 meters away from anyone else, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Like, had he burst through and suddenly grab hold of, like, Joyce's hand or something, it'd be like, there's a chance. Nah.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did it from a storytelling standpoint, because it proved to us that, yeah, no fucking around.
Yeah, because they didn't kill anyone else off.
Yeah, it's like, no fucking around. He was, for better or for worse, this season's Bob.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Justice for Bob. Oh my God! Bob and Bob.
What was your favourite scene in season 2? The railroad tracks with Dustin and Steve.
Oh, they were just throwing meat on the floor and talking about girls.
And hair.
That was pretty great. That was pretty great.
Do not tell anyone about the Farrah Fawcett spray.
Oh my God, yeah.
When it's damp, not wet, damp. No, there's so much goodness. He's like...
That's some great dialogue.
Everything with Hopper and Eleven.
Yeah. I was going to say, my favourite... What I thought my favourite moments are, again, both quiet conversational bits.
Yeah.
The Hopper and Joyce conversation in like episode 1 or 2.
And then again in episode 9 outside where she's like... Yeah.
The conversation with Eleven in the truck. In
good.
episode 9. But... I think it might be the entire... I know it's split up a couple times, but it might be the stakeout in the...
yeah, that's pretty great.
In the car graveyard.
That's
like
pretty
trying
great.
to lure Dart, and then just that reveal of, hang on, there's 2.
Oh no.
Oh,
there's more than 2.
Oh God.
Steve, get back in the fucking bus!
Because it's like Steve sort of like is braced. You can see shit scared, but he's like, I'm going to protect these kids and I'm going to beat the shit out of this monster. Oh, there's more. Okay, and
Yeah.
of course that's the first time that Max has to just face front deal with, oh yeah, Lucas isn't bullshitting.
Yeah.
This is real. Like the way that was done, and the fact that they comment on why is there mist? I think so one of them sort of says like, why is there so much mist? It's like, yeah, good point.
Sea mist rolling in.
On a hill, far away from the coast.
I feel like the season got progressively better with every episode, apart from Chapter 7,
Hey,
The
there
Lost
we are.
Sister.
Yeah.
Whilst I enjoyed it, it felt a bit out of place, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Kali, but I do understand that it's there to world build and set up future seasons.
Carly's hair was incredible. Just
Yes.
point that out.
I mean,
There was some good hair in that group. There was also some terrible hair in that
I think
group.
if we'd had longer to get to know those characters, and we weren't getting taken away from those characters,
Maybe what it needed, because they were the opener of the season,
Yeah.
and then it took so long before
get
we found
back
out what
to
that meant.
them, yeah.
Maybe we just needed one more button around, say, episode 4.
maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Just a bit more of them for the view. Or maybe if every episode had the pre-credit stinger
Yeah,
was with them.
maybe.
Because then it'd feel like it had built up to something.
But it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it came in between 6 and 8, which was a big cliffhanger moment, and it takes
Climber.
yes, it takes you away from that storyline for an hour, and yeah, you just want to know what's happening to everyone that you care about,
Yeah.
and these new people. So I think it's just a case of where it came in the narrative didn't
Didn't slot in.
quite slot in.
properly.
What direction do you think the Duffer Brothers will take the show and its characters when it comes to season 3? I think the possibility of Brenna being alive is going to take 11 to some interesting places. I also think
We're going to go back to Chicago.
We're going to go back to Chicago at some point, and I believe it'll also be partly about 11 fitting with normal kids and going to school, which leads into the next question and final question. And do you think we will be seeing season 3 in 2018, or is that too soon due to production time? I think when you work with child actors, you have to get it into production as soon as possible.
Yep.
They cranked this one out a year after the first, and also it's built in to the end of the season when Hopper gets the the adoption certificate for 11. And he's talking with what's the doctor called? Dr. Owens. Dr. Owens?
I think so.
Yeah. He's saying, look, you're not going to be able to let her go out into the world straight away. There's still people keeping their eye on you. Give it about a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
To which Hopper's like, oh God. But then he takes her to the snowball, which Mike wants to take her to. Regardless, it takes to that.
Implying quite pleasantly that it's like he's more lenient than he was before.
Yeah. And also because there's that tension at the start of the season where Eleven's saying, well, when is soon?
Yeah.
When's soon going to be? How long?
At 515.
Oh, God, she's just the best.
Soon as at 515.
Millie Bobby Brown is incredible in this. We didn't talk about Millie Bobby Brown. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we didn't talk about her like anywhere near enough. Yeah,
she's just incredible, and she looks like Ripley more and more until she gets the punk makeover in episode 7. But before that, with the curly hair, just looks like Ripley. I'm like, yes, 80s.
And then she looked like Ripley.
80s.
Then she looked like number 8 in in Resurrection.
Yeah,
She had slick back hair. Number 8. Number 8.
So I think
number 8.
they will get it in production as soon as they can because they got to keep those, and I think it'll be set a year after.
There's a reason Lemony Snicket is coming out a year after the previous season. It's because you've got child actors.
Got to get that stuff done. The only conflicts that I think holding that up will be this cast getting more in demand. David Harbour's doing Hellboy.
Hellboy is still in principle. But it wraps, I believe, because that's why you've not seen much of him during the promotion for Stranger Things 2.
Well, like the Beyond Stranger Things stuff, he's there's a couple of video messages from him in it, but he's not in any of the sit-down interviews because he's off busy doing Hellboy when they were doing it.
Yeah.
Or getting ready to do Hellboy.
Yeah.
And then obviously Finn Wolfhard is going to be going back for some stuff on It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
So I'll imagine not much, but they're still going to need to get him.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was principal photography for this, kicking off very early summer, so like end of April through to July, again for an October-November release.
I think that's a fair...
And they're very heavy on their practical effects.
Less so in this.
Well, there was more, the demo dogs.
The demo dogs were all digital.
But like they know how to do their practical effects in a way where they would be able to save time by doing a lot of stuff. Like the prep would begin pretty much in December.
Well, the Demogorgon was about 50% practical in the original.
Yeah. And then like they'd have the teams would have a 2 or 3 month gap after principal photography.
Well, they said on the first thing they didn't really have a team.
Oh, mince.
They didn't need one.
Oh, mince.
Because it was just the Demogorgon, more or less. And everything else was practical. And the Demogorgon was mostly practical.
Yeah. There's been some amazing Demogorgon cosplays over the conventions the last few weeks. Like there's that one where that person built a trigger in the hand of their costume. And the head unfurls.
Nice.
It's really cool.
That's really cool.
It's really, really like you just sort of at the corner of the videos of them, you just see the hand go like that. Like every time the thing opens. It's like, damn, that's amazing.
I've also seen a Demogorgon collar for dogs.
I mean, I don't know whether to be impressed or terrified at how soon that has been put together. Then again, it might have been put together pre-demo dogs.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. They just made it for their dog because they were like, this would be funny. Oh god, I predicted the future.
So yes, Stranger Things 2, go and watch it.
Yes, do see it with your eye holes.
It's on Netflix.
Those
you
are
can
my
watch the
eye
whole thing
holes.
in it's 9 hours of it.
Yeah.
It's a short season.
It's that beautiful thing as well of it being, because it's straight streaming television, the episode can be as long as it needs to be. So they're all kept to 45 minutes as much as they can be. But I think there's only a couple that are like 46, 47 minutes. The rest are 50 plus. Like the third episode, I think, was like an hour and 2 minutes. So you get a nice variety, but just binge it, guys.
Binge that shit.
Binge it or spread it out evenly. Because you've now got, what, was it 8 episodes of Series 1? Or 9 episodes of Series 1? 8. So you've now got a sumptuous 17 episodes.
17 episodes to sink your teeth into.
17 eps, 2 big story arcs.
And Punisher's round the corner.
Oh my god. You know, I realised, Punisher and Justice League both come out on the Friday I disappear to Lincoln.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun podcast, isn't it?
Well, I've got the Saturday and the Sunday free. And I'm already going to be there.
Well, I guess I know what you're doing on Saturday and Sunday.
So Friday night I'll probably see Justice League. Saturday and Sunday I'll probably binge Punisher. And we'll probably record the pod on the Sunday ahead of the Friday.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Don't do that. Well, we better rest up.
Yeah.
We'll be going now. As always, you can get us, bigdamcontact@gmail.com or at bigdamcast on Twitter. Please do share the show with your friends. We can't do more if we don't get bigger. And let us know what you think. Keep those emails coming in. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel, Big Damn Channel on YouTube for more video stuff. Me and Chris have just started spinning out of our Tricks and Treats Halloween stuff. We're doing a playthrough of Until Dawn at the moment. Chris is going to feature in every episode, but you've joined me for the first 2. Yes.
And hopefully at least the 4th. We'll see.
We shall see.
Developments that I want to witness your reaction to.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
So thanks
for
listening, and we'll see you next time.
But remember, we should always end on a moral, really.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, there's nothing wrong with being the Winston.
No.
There is nothing wrong with being the Winston.
You see shit that'll turn you white.